Oh, what a night. Late December back in 63. Yo, how you doing? Happy Monday. Happy Monday to all you out there right now. Look. It just, waking up at 5, doing this thing, getting this content out, and having to put down that there's like 30 people on an injury report today, and a lot of them are impactful. That's the nature, the belly of the beast, if you will. The second half NBA every night. 11 games, 7. Sometimes we're going to get treated to the 3-game slate yesterday and the 4-game slate tomorrow, right? So we got a little bit of a breather in here to, this sprint, this marathon. We're on, catch your breath, get some water, use the bathroom, the restroom, do whatever you got to do. Because then this car is just going straight through April. 11-game slate today with a load of injury news. So as always, the updates will be coming today. The updates for all those good old Patrons, the Patrons in the Discord, all those people up on there. You'll be getting the updates today. Before we get started right now, happy Nevada Day. Shout out Vegas. Happy National Vietnam War Veteran Day to all of you out there. Thank you for your service. If you're out there right now, pat on the back to you. And if you know somebody, shoot them a text, call them up, do whatever you got to do. And happy National Mom and Pop Small Business Day. Mom and Pop Small Business, Mom and Pop Business Owners Days today. I don't know if I classify in that. I ain't no mom. I ain't no pop. I got a mom and a pop. I got a business. Is that are we celebrating just by being alive today? Are we? I think we're trying to stretch it a little bit too far right now. But if you're mom and pop business owners today, cheers to you. This is coffee. Don't worry about it. It's nothing too crazy. It's 5 a.m. in the morning. What people think I'm doing out here. But all right, let's chop. Let's get into it. All right. I hope you're chilling out, relaxing, maxing, all cool over there. Well, if you can, right? I know you're probably lounging back, doing your thing on a Monday. You're at your office. You're at home. Whatever you're doing. You're on a walk, working out. Whatever you're doing right now. 2 seconds of your time, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live later today. Takes a couple of momentos. And the other one, if you're on the podcast version right now, if you want to leave a review to get entered into a chance to win $100 Rooskies, right? Leave a review on Apple or Stitcher. You can check it out. The way to do it is linked in the description below to leave a review over there. Chance to win $100. I'll be announcing that at the end of the week. We'll be doing that throughout the week. Takes probably 5 minutes of your time, and probably like 10 or 20 people will only do it, so you have some decent odds of doing that. You can do that as well if you're listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube. So the injuries right now. And there's a lot of them. And I'll really just touch on the big ones. There's going to be a lot of role players today, like a Rodney Magruder or Landry Shamet guys, either in or questionable or out, right? I'm not touching on all those. If you want all those, you can go into the Discord. I just posted a screenshot of all the 30 players on the injury report today. We'll update no matter who is in or out, whether they're big players or not. But Steph Curry, questionable today, but he did practice yesterday. They were expecting him to miss one more game and expecting him to come back later this week, right? But he practiced yesterday and he said he felt good, so we'll see what happens there. He's a cheap price point, but there might be a minutes limit on him. All the other players in the Warriors are now expensive because he's been out. Serge Ibaka remains out. Christian Wood missed the last game, questionable today. Oladipo is not going to make his debut with Miami just yet. He is out today. Bradley Beal down to $9,100 today on DraftKings. He is now going to be questionable. Lowry missed yesterday. Lowry, a sore foot. He gets this sore foot randomly after, days after. There's big talks about him being traded away. So who knows what's going on there. Him and Lonzo Ball were like the two biggest guys who didn't get traded away that people thought would get traded away. Now they're not playing all of a sudden with these injuries that came out of nowhere. Evan Fournier is questionable to make his debut with Boston today. Would hurt guys like Marcus Smart and really a lot of guys in that rotation, as he's obviously a much better rotational piece than, in my opinion, Daniel Tice. What Daniel Tice can take away from those guards and small forwards in Tatum and Brown and Kemba is not as much as what Evan Fournier can from an assist percentage standpoint and obviously shot attempts. Jared Allen will miss his second straight game, and in that last game you saw a lot of Dean Wade minutes coming out, right? You might see Isaiah Hartenstein make a debut today, the former Denver Nugget. And Rocket, but we don't know yet, right? He didn't play on Saturday. Larry Nance got some minutes at the center position as well and a lot of power forward. Kendrick Nunn is out with Goran Dragic returning for Miami today. Kyrie is probable, so all the days of just easy projections in the 65 range for James Harden for me are probably going to be over for now, but still no Durant. Lonzo Ball and Julius Randle, who also missed their last games apiece, are going to be questionable. The Randle news is pretty important because we saw Taj Gibson start that last game, play a lot of minutes, and play well. We saw Nerlens Noel actually come off the bench in that game, back up Taj Gibson, although they play alongside each other for some minutes, and both of them played well. So you might be looking at value today, not really finding too much because we're waiting on a lot of this key news to drop. And you might say, Taj Gibson is the play today. No. Taj Gibson started at center last game. If Randle is out again and Taj Gibson starts, even then with the price point up, Taj Gibson is nowhere near a lock to give you 25 plus fantasy points, but he will then look good. As of right now, he's not going to be on this list because I'm projecting Julius Randle to play today. So let's DJ start that shit up. Let's go. Number 12 play in the day. And this is going to be an interesting one. And this will be changing throughout the day, of course, with the news, as you can follow below. But an interesting one because Rudy Gobert, $8,200. He's probably not going to project out all that great for me if you're just looking median projection wise, but median projections are not going to be able to fully take into account the situation that's happening in Cleveland today. Andre Drummond gets the buyout. Kevin Love is not going to be playing yet again. Jared Allen is now sitting, and their best center as of right now, size-wise, is like Isaiah Hartenstein if he plays, and that's a mismatch. Rudy Gobert's going to eat that up. Otherwise, it's Dean Wade or Larry Nance, and those are massive mismatches. So it's coming down to the things that you're seeing this year for Rudy Gobert and why he's not as productive as last year, not in the upper 8K 5K range is really the minutes, in my opinion, right? You're having Donovan Mitchell take another step forward, especially this last month and since the restart from the All-Star break. But the minutes, he's playing like 30, 31 minutes a game when he was playing 33 to 35 minutes a game last year. But if you combine the team total of a 119.75 team total, the second highest on the slate, only behind Brooklyn's massive 125-point team total getting Kyrie back, and you combine this matchup against Cleveland, an undersized team today with that, it's going to look a lot better for the point per minute production for Rudy Gobert, who's already at around 1.25 this year. It just comes down to the minutes for him. So I put him on this list as number 12 today. He will not be number 12, and he probably, even without the news, be that high if you just go on a pure point projection basis. I'm more so doing this because of the key spot of the combination of team total plus matchup. The number 11 play on the slate, as we're still just waiting on a lot of news to drop. Like these are going to be pretty different, not dramatically different once you start to get up top, but these like bottom two guys will be somewhat different in the top 12 later on today because of the news. And Brogdon's price point, it went down to 6,900, had a good game at 7,000. The thing that concerns me for Brogdon, obviously LeVert's there at the same price. Give me Brogdon all day. But over these last couple of games, these are his effective field goal rates or his field goal percentages. 54%, 50, 24, 83, 59, 56, 50, right? 60%. So this is pretty high. This is pretty high. And he's normally going to be in that range. So it's not to the point where I'm like, oh, he's going to have to cool off now. Kind of like where Donovan Mitchell right now is at for me. Mitchell's not going to continue to shoot 70% from three and 75% from the field like he has been the last week or week and a half with his price point increasing. The opposite's happening for Brogdon. He's shooting, he's shooting more consistently at the rim. He's getting that stability now to his effective field goal rate. And the price point, if anything, is fair because LeVert's now there. So he's my number 11 overall play today. Top 10 we go. And Sabin Lee is going to be on this list right now. Dennis Smith Jr. is going to be out again. This is only, so here we go. This is only if you end up seeing Sabin Lee start again. No interest on SuperDraft as a 2x multiplier. It's not a high enough projection for me. But Sabin Lee, if you wanted to go there from Detroit today, they're going to be down a couple bodies. If Rodney McGruder misses, even better for Lee. We'll pull up what happened in that last game for them. He's at $3,800 today. Not the greatest of team totals, but not terrible. 107.25 for this team. So we'll pull up Detroit from that last game, their game flow. Right now, Detroit, you can see Sabin Lee starts right here. He ends up playing to start that game out the first 7 minutes of the game. That's not bad. You get those stints. He's going to play 28 minutes in the game, right? So he ends up playing then in the second quarter. Not much so. So this is the concern. They go on a pretty big run. In the second quarter, he only ends up playing 3 minutes and 51 seconds. So you might be saying, he's only on pace now to play somewhere around 22 minutes in the game, only 11 minutes in the first half. Starts that second half out with a nice 9-minute run. So now he's starting to look like he's going to play about 28 minutes in this game yet again. And what happens? He checks in the fourth quarter and he only plays 4 minutes and 45 seconds, checks out with the final 5 minutes of the game. And why is that? The old so fashioned, the old reliable in the NBA these days, the blowout. So the blowout ensues. He only plays 24 and a half minutes, but, and this is a big old booty, we assume he would have closed based on when he checked in this game. And if he would have closed, you could see he ends up checking out his stint 4. He ends up checking out with 5 minutes and 15 seconds left. If that's the case, he would have played about 30 minutes in this game. Now he produced fine, right? He ended up producing fine for his price point last time out. But if he's only going to play 24 minutes, I'm not going to be wanting to get there. That's not stable for a guy who shot very well in the last game. But if he can play 30 minutes or 28 minutes if he starts again, it starts to get a little bit more reliable for a $3,000 player. The number 9 play on the slate is Theo Maladon. And before we get into Theo Maladon, the sponsor of the program today is SuperDraft. And this is SuperDraft's contest for today. And this is what I want to tell you about SuperDraft. We've already talked about it. A lot of people already know about SuperDraft, and that's fantastic. But yesterday's contest for SuperDraft, 45 minutes before the game started, they were only at 42% filled, right? It only ended up filling in the 60% range, most of their contests yesterday. So be sure to check it out. What does that mean? So if you ended up playing a contest yesterday, now the weekends, sometimes people don't play as much because they're doing some other shit with their life. You got an actual life out there. Enjoy your days, right? If you're above ground right now, if you're healthy, if you're out there right now, you're above ground, you're breathing, you're having a good day today. So treat yourself, get your perspective right. But if you played in that contest yesterday, just by entering a lineup, you automatically beat 35% of the field. Where else are you going to get that? You're not going to get that on DraftKings. Maybe it doesn't fill by 0.1% on DraftKings, right? 35% of the field just by entering a lineup you beat because it didn't fill. The contest didn't fill. And that's consistently happening on SuperDraft basically for the past year or so. Take advantage of it while it lasts. If you sign up with the code SAL, so this is the contest today, their big one, 5K to first. Obviously, there's only 17 people in right now because I'm recording this at like 6 something in the morning. But take advantage of it. Use the code SAL. If you put in $25 or more, they'll give you $25 right there. So that's a nice benefit. And if you're a part of the community that joins with SAL, you're in the Discord, you just join with that code SAL in SuperDraft. Every single month, they'll be giving away a couple of VIP travel rewards through Caesar Rewards, their partners. So you might just get an email saying, hey, you've played on SuperDraft this amount in the past month. You qualify. Somebody in our Discord has already gotten that email to notify them. You qualify, and we're going to be potentially, or maybe you get the email that says we're going to be sending you to a 2-day stay out of one of these 3 places. Where do you want to go? Or a 3-day stay, just a free vacation. Pretty smart by SuperDraft from a marketing standpoint. Pretty smart from them. If you want to join in this, I try to negotiate deals that help the community. I think that's a pretty exciting one outside of the free money bonus. So you can see it's a multiplier format. We'll talk more in this on the projections later on today. I have projections and player pools for SuperDraft specifically to help you out with everything you need down below in the description. So it's not salary cap based. You go based on a multiplier, Harden 1x multiplier. He scores 50 today. He gets 50. Donovan Mitchell 1.2x. He scores 50. You multiply it by 1.2. 5.2x. He actually outscores Harden, things like that, right? So check it out. That code Sal, link down below. Get you everything you need from SuperDraft today. That free money bonus and a potential chance at a decent amount of people, right? If 5 or 10 people get getting sent to place a month, even if it's just like 1 to 3, it's not bad from the community. We make sure to send you pictures into the Discord if you get to Disneyland or wherever they send you, Miami Beach, wherever the fuck you're going. The number 9 play in the day is going to be Theo Maladon. And Theo Maladon, this is the thing. This OKC Thunder team, it is just done. Like, we already knew this was going to be a bad team. It made sense that Al Horford was not going to be on this team. I thought he would get traded. Makes sense that he's not going to play again this year because they have to get rid of him, right? They have to get rid of him. I don't know if it'll be a buyout based on his contract, but they have to get rid of him because they got a bunch of picks for him in the deal. They don't want to pay this man. Just get rid of him. Put him to an actual contender who could use a guy like Al Horford in the postseason. But Theo Maladon, you have Lou Dort in the concussion protocol, right? I doubt he gets taken out 2 days after he gets put in that. Maybe, but I doubt that, right? So I'm projecting him out. Baisley, SGA, and Al Horford are already ruled out today. So when you're looking at this team right now, Moses Brown looks like a very competent player, right? But after that, it's probably Theo Maladon, because after that, you're looking at Isaiah Roby, Ty Jerome, Kendrick Williams, just lifetime role players. And Theo Maladon, the rookie, they're giving him bigger minutes. It makes sense. If you're going to do anything, you're in this foundation, you're trying to develop players and get more picks. They've gotten a shit ton of picks, 14 picks over the next 7 years for the Thunder. But Theo Maladon, we saw this a little bit earlier this year, 37 minutes when SJ was out and some other guys were out. 37 minutes, the minutes came up, right? He didn't shoot all that great. 7 of 16 is just fine, 44%. He's able to get you there with 43 points. Why? 8 rebounds. He picks up a couple of steals and assists, but it's more so the minutes. Now the price point comes up to 5,800 against Dallas today. Team total not great, 103.75. But with all those guys off the court, a smaller sample here, and we're taking all of them off, right? Diallo's not on this team anymore. George Hill is not on this team and has been hurt for the most part of the year. But with all that happening, you see Theo Maladon control a nice 26% assist percentage, 22% usage, and there's just nobody left at this point. So he's going to take those 15 plus shots in the game, right? He shot 10 threes in the last game alone, only made 4 of them, but that's fine. That's fine from a 3-point percentage, giving us a little bit of a boost there. In that game, he only had 4 assists because he's playing with shit players now. So that's the one concern for his assist percentage. Yes, it's nice. It's 26%, but he was doing that with SGA and some other players like even Lou Dort and Baisley. How can it hold up now with the price point increasing? That's your only concern. You're probably going to have to see those minutes stay high, but I don't know how they don't at this point. He's a rookie that I expect them to give run to. The number 8 play in the day is Kawhi Leonard. There's not much to break down here. He's a 1.35 fantasy point per minute producer. He's going to play 34 minutes most of the night. He's averaging 34.5 on the season. And now he gets a matchup with a nice total, 115 total today. Nice matchup against Milwaukee, where I'm not going to say that this can be the finals, right? The NBA finals, but it's definitely a perceivable one. It's going to be a competitive game is the best way to put that, which usually brings out more stability to the floor of those 34 minutes for Kawhi if you project him at, and the upside to those 37, 38 minute games for Kawhi, where at this price point, he's just way too cheap. He's already projecting out for closer to like the 46 fantasy point plus range for me, like 46.5 points, and there's obviously minutes upside to that. So Kawhi at $8,900 is strongly in play. I do prefer him to his teammate whose price point is now up to $8,500 in Paul George. The number 7, so this is 7 play on the day, the 7 fishes. Yeah. Christmas Eve. If you're a fellow Italiano out there, you know, the 7 fishes that you end up having on Christmas Eve. What a day. What a day. Can't wait for the holidays. Why can't we have the holidays right now? Like, where are we at? We're in March right now. What holidays do we have coming up? Easter. Fuck. Easter's literally like a week away. But I mean, come on. After that, I love Easter, but I'm not going to be traveling for it this year. So and that's like 2 years in a row now. So this fucking COVID thing. I mean, come on. Get the fuck out of here, guy. Alrighty. Number 7 play in the day, Larry Nance Jr. He's all the way up to 7K now. But in my opinion, it's appropriate. You're getting big minutes. I'm going to give him 34 minutes today. He's going to get a decent amount of run at the center position. The problem is the matchup against Utah. It's pretty brutal. Only a 104.25 team total in a slower paced game. So we can pull up on Add More Funds. It's a free tool. You can check it out down below right now. What's happening with the Cavs when you basically take all the bigs that aren't on this team now off the team. So JaVale McGee, Andre Drummond, right? You have no right now Jared Allen from being out and no Kevin Love. Taurean Prince is questionable today, so watch that. That can actually be impactful. He's been ruled out pretty early on. That can help Dean Wade. So right now, Larry Nance Jr. with all these guys off the court averages 1.15 fantasy points per minute. Why is that happening for him? Because he's playing center more. He's playing closer to the basket. He doesn't have to play next to rebounding monsters like Drummond and to a lesser extent Jared Allen. He's shooting 60% because he's playing closer to the basket, a lot more center minutes for him. 1.1 fantasy points per minute is making his $7,000 price tag slowly starting to become proper. But even if you just do quick math, even if you say that that's a not true sample, he's playing a little bit out of his head, which I don't think is true. Let's just put him at 1.1 fantasy points per minute at 34 minutes today. He's going to start projecting out in the upper 30s in fantasy points, 35, 36, 37 range. And at $7,000, that's still a pretty nice play for us. He gets a nice rebounding rate, which I think is only going to continue to come up at 16% as these guys remain out next to him. It's worth pointing out that this is a smaller sample with all those bigs off the court. Of course, Jared Allen hasn't missed much time since coming to this team. It's only been a couple of games. So you're looking at a very small sample of only like time-wise 3 or 4 games here. So, of course, one big game in there will skew some things, but this is where you're slowly starting to get from Larry Nance. That assist percentage probably comes down from 20% to maybe like in the mid-teens because he's a decent assisting big, but that rebounding rate is definitely going to off-put that. So the number 6 play on the slate right now is Dejante Murray. Look, he's $7,100, and the assist percentage bails out Dejante Murray so much. His assist percentage is at 24% this year, so look at his last 2 games. He's had 39 fantasy points in both of them, and he's gotten there in totally different ways. How has he done it? Well, if you look 2 games ago, he played 37 minutes, so he got there just based on pure minutes, right? Ended up being out on the court a little bit more, so when you're going to get 37 minutes and only be close to $7,000 for like a 1.11 fantasy point per minute producer this year, it's going to be good. He shot 18 times in that game. Just from being out there more, he ended up picking up more peripheral stats and got 39.5 fantasy points. The next game scores exactly 39.5 fantasy points, so this is good to look at. Only plays 31 minutes in a game. They win by 16 over Chicago, so the blowout ensues, if you will. He checks out of the game with a couple minutes left. He would have played his normal, 34 minutes that he's been playing lately. But since he doesn't play as much, he shoots 4 less times. He shoots a little bit better of a percentage, but he ends up getting 8 assists in that game, right? The rebounding rate that is in the teens looks good. So the assist percentage can bail him out. How active he is all around the court can bail him out. And now he has a nice total, 115.25, one of the close to a top 5 team total on the slate against Sacramento. So I like this. I like the minutes that we're getting out of him and that assist percentage being able to bail him out. And to a lesser extent, the rebounding rate being able to bail him out. The number 5 play on the day is going to be Mr. Jonathan Wall. And before we talk about that, hey, down below in the description, check it out. We get the Discord access. You can come into the community, chill out, relax, max all cool. We have a shit ton of tools, not just for NBA, right? When the NFL comes around, right now for PGA, and also right now for the MMA. So check it all out. Projections, ranks, ownership, player pools, top rated plays, lineup optimizers as well, depending on the tier that you sign up for. So lineup optimizer is obviously a powerful tool, whether you make one lineup or 150, to be able to more efficiently make better lineups. If that's your goal, it should probably be your goal. If you're doing this seriously, not just trying to lose your money. If you're trying to lose your money and just want entertainment, hey, to each their own at this point, right? So check it all out. It's linked down below on Patreon. It's right in the description. You can check it out, join the community. When you're in that Discord, just come in and be like, hey, yo, what's up? What's poppin'? How you doing today? Well, I'll be like, hey, what's going on, man? Welcome in here. You're new here? How you doing? And actually treat you like a real human being, like not just like online people in a Discord. No, everybody's in there. We're all part of a community now, trying to build a family of like-minded people. Maybe one day we'll all meet up for some big game of two-hand touch football or some shit and some brewskis. What do you say? So the number 5 play on the slate is going to be John Wall, and oh boy, my girlfriend is not happy with John Wall. So pulling up what happened in their last game on Popcorn Machine. Sal, why is your girlfriend not happy with John Wall? She's been playing on Prize Picks. We'll talk about, people want to all know the Prize Picks. We talk about Prize Picks. The projections help you with Prize Picks, one of our other sponsors. We'll talk about that later on the show on the live stream today around 4:45, 5 p.m. East Coast time. But she's been playing the last couple of days. She actually went to Busto. She had $20, then she got it up to 60, and then she lost 3 nights in a row. But John Wall checked out early in this game. Didn't play really anything of the final, honestly, like last 2 quarters. Like for the most part, he didn't play the last like quarter and a half in this game. That's why he only played 26 minutes instead of his traditional 32 plus minutes that he gets when he's healthy, especially with guys like Wood and Oladipo not on the team anymore. You'd expect maybe 34 minutes, but my girlfriend had him. He only scored 40 fantasy points, needed 42, didn't actually play. We've been doing this little series on Twitter. You can check them out. My girlfriend, the gambler, they've been pretty funny. The last 2 days we've been doing some recaps of her nights when she's losing, and she is not happy out there. She does not think that it is fair that blowout run can ruin her or foul trouble can ruin her.
I feel cheated, and I feel like this wasn't fair.
Pretty fun to watch. But John Wall, you can see he starts normally, right? He gets his 9 minutes, but let's just follow John Wall right here, and I'll kind of talk you through this. He plays up until the final 3 minutes right here. John Wall's stint, the final 3 minutes and 16 seconds of the third quarter. Okay. And then he checks back in. Pretty interesting. I don't know if there was a tweak to an injury here that wasn't reported. He checks in for 1 minute, gets a personal foul, his first personal foul, so it wasn't like it was foul trouble, and then he leaves. And now at that point, they were on a 16-0 run. Right at the end of the 16-0 run, he checks back in. They're up at this point by like 20 plus points, so I have no idea. Actually, they're up by like 25 to 30 points, so I have no idea why he checked back in for a minute. If you were watching the game and want to let us know, was there just like an injury tweak? Did he just want to come in? Maybe this would make more sense. He comes in to use a personal foul, but it's not like they were trailing from behind and had to foul. So I don't know why that ended up happening in the data. That's something that I can't actually interpret from this. All I know is that he only played 1 minute in the final 16 minutes of the game. That is not what John Wall is going to do. He's going to close out games. He's going to play the final 9 minutes. So in 26 minutes, he still scored 40 fantasy points. Obviously, Christian Wood missed this game. But even if I project Christian Wood in today, John Wall with the price point now dropping, nice matchup against Memphis, a 108.25 team implied total. I'm going to project him for 1.25 fantasy points per minute for around 33 minutes today, and that's going to make him project out as a pretty solid play for us early on. Our number 4 play in the slate is Avita Zubac, a nice team total again, but this is the thing. You might be saying, Sal, we keep playing this guy 5,900. Yeah, and he keeps just getting into situations of either blowouts, producing for you, or in the last game, he checks in the third quarter and he just ruins his production. He picks up 2 quick personal fouls right in the first minute and a half of the third quarter last time out, and that ended up ruining the rest of the game for him. He didn't get up to those extra 5 to 10 minutes that he actually plays. It just ruined the whole game for him. time. That's not going to happen all that often. He is a guy who can get into foul trouble, but he still averages pretty big minutes this last week to week and a half with Ibaka being out. So Zubac now is like a 1.05 fantasy point per minute producer. Zubac, where we expect him to play closer to 30 to 32 minutes when he doesn't get 2 personal fouls at the beginning of the third, is our number 4 overall play at the center position today. The number 3 overall play, another center, Karl-Anthony Towns at $9,900. There is a legitimate 20 rebound, 20-point game upside here, as his rebounding rate is massively coming up right now versus Brooklyn today. Karl-Anthony Towns' assist percentage is now up to 21%, which gives him really nice stability, but man oh man is this matchup against the body, the corpse of DeAndre Drummond, the corpse of Blake Griffin, right? And then you end up having Claxton, who's playing bigger minutes as of late, but not a match for Towns. Yes, you get Beasley back. That's only going to stabilize what you're seeing out of the assist percentage. If Anthony Edwards can ever get his shooting percentage up and not be at like 45%, 48% this year, that'll only help even more. Karl-Anthony Towns went from an assist percentage, but everything's coming up. The rebounding rate is now there. The scoring and the shot attempts are now there. The minutes are clearly there. And if you get that assist percentage coming, this is going to be a legitimate every time Karl-Anthony Towns is out there when he gets the minutes, he scores 50 plus points. We've been seeing that the last couple of days and the last couple of weeks. $9,900 is too cheap. The number 2 play in the slate is going to be Moses Brown. Oh, baby. Moses Brown is a monster. And let's pull this up right over here. This is the Oklahoma Thunder team today, Oklahoma City Thunder, with all their guys off the court. It is a smaller sample, yes, but Moses Brown shooting 63% because he's shooting right at the basket, a 1.22 fantasy point per minute production rate. And that honestly might be low. He has a 28%, as you can see right here, defensive rebounding rate. That's good to see. And a 21% total rebounding rate when you take into account offensive rebounds. Moses Brown today, if I just give him 32 minutes and just give him his normal production from the season so far, he's going to project out for 40 fantasy points. Now, will I give him that? We'll see my final projections once we take into account a lot of other factors like the total, the pace, right? The defensive matchups, the assist percentage, rebounding rates, all that type of stuff. But 40 fantasy points for a $6,800 player. Even if he projects out lower for like 36, 37, as like one of the only quality players on this team today, I don't even care if it's a matchup against Porzingis partially down low, right? Porzingis will be at the 4 for most of the time. Moses Brown is giving us some pretty sturdy production. You can see I have a lot of centers on here right now. Towns, Zubac, and Brown. We're going to have to pick probably 2 of them today in a lot of lineups. The number 1 overall play, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo coming off a game of rest. The 2 games before that had not played pretty well. I don't care. If anything, it's dropping his price point by $400, $10,700 in a matchup which should be pretty close today. And as of right now, it's just a coin flip, a 114.5 team implied total. It's a half a point spread here, so we expect it to stay close. And when games stay close for Giannis, he plays 36 plus minutes. And when a guy is playing 36 plus minutes at close to a 1.7 fantasy point per minute production rate so far this year, that's when you start to see Giannis scoring with ease 60 fantasy points. And that's when you start to see Giannis today being $1,000 underpriced and our number 1 overall play on the slate. So thank you for tuning in today. Hey. There's your top 12 plays. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Take a second of your time. Also, check out all the tools that we have on Patreon, linked down below. Fellas, and you ladies out there. Enjoy the start to your week. No better day than today. I don't care if you say that I hate Mondays, the Sunday scaries, all that type of stuff. No. Change your perspective. You're living today. You got probably family members that are living today. You're not. Just put it this way. You have the ability to be watching this right now. So you have some sort of technology that makes you pretty privileged compared to some people that might be in a cage somewhere in the world, which is terrible to think about. So just think about it from that way. Change your perspective. You should be grateful today. Sign up for the sponsor, SuperDraft, and you can check them out. This contest is not going to fill. We can kind of check the updates later today, like an hour before lock while we're on the live stream. But check them out down below for, put $25 or more and you get $25 right back. Code SAL, S-A-L, lets them know that you came from me. That is code SAL, S-A-L, lets them know that you came from me. And maybe you'll win one of those free vacation trips. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you all later on in the live stream. We got some golf content to be putting out for the Valero still in Texas today as well. I'm tired. I'm going to go get some more coffee. I'm going to go work out. See you, gang. See you in the next one. Peace.